number three. I should have done number two, like number two for that video, but whatever. So, what that tells us about the little girl is we can't stay stuck in our heads about things that we cannot do. If it is something that we want to do, we have to call on our resources, call on the support that we have internally, externally, and we just have to do it. All of us have different stories on challenges that we faced as little kids, things that we were told that we could not do. A lot of us did them, a lot of us didn't do it. Now, granted, the story about the little girl, she probably shouldn't have done it by herself, because if she fell and she could not, you know, get help, it'll probably be a long time before someone would come by. So, but I do like the story because it is something where she felt that she had to do this. And I think it was also for her sanity, because she's in a situation where she's on this threshold of, from childhood to young adulthood. Her body is changing, her life is changing. Even the very boys that see her that she was friends with, they're looking at her differently because she is different. Her body's different. The way she thinks is different. Before they all ran together, they rode bikes together, they hung out together. Now, at that time, as she had gotten older, they're opening the door for her. They're letting her go first. While they're racing, they're slowing down and letting her win. And, of course, this is something that they're being told as young men because, of course, they're going through their own changes, that things are different now, the way they interact with her. And I want to say this. As young people dealing with challenges, dealing with people telling you no, especially little girls, there are going to be situations where they're going to have to prove themselves. And especially as moms, as aunts, as mentors, we need to help them have that win, especially as long as it's safe. Set up some guidelines. We need to help them get those wins. And it starts when they're kids. And when they know that they can accomplish things, they know that they can resolve conflict, they know that they can resolve issues, they take those skills that they've learned and they bring them into adulthood. And that promotes, less anxiety, more confidence. It promotes a healthy self-esteem. And they can rely on their knowledge, their experience, their skills. And they also know that they can reach out to other resources to get help. I want to talk about a woman named Ruth and a Bible story. She was from Moab, and her mother-in-law named Naomi, she also lived there. So basically it was Ruth, her husband, Naomi, her husband, and Orpah and her husband. Now Naomi was the mother-in-law to the two women, and their husbands were her sons. And they had moved, Naomi and her husband and her two sons had moved to Moab because there was a famine in their land. Well, after, I believe, like about 10 years or so, all the men died in the family. And Naomi was returning back to her ancestral land, and she didn't want to take her daughter-in-laws. And they were still young enough to remarry. Well, Ruth decided that she was going to go with Naomi, regardless. Where Naomi was going, she was going. Now, in the story, it doesn't really talk about their relationship. It doesn't really speak to what some of the things that transpired between them, between the family. And Naomi decides to go back. I believe it was Bethlehem, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong. And so Ruth followed her there. She went with her. And Ruth ended up working in field, very beautiful woman inside and out, working in the field to take care of herself and her mother-in-law. Now, can you imagine? This is not your mother by blood, not your mother by birth. This is your husband's mother, and your husband is no longer alive. So it was just those two women at that time, no protection from a man, which was very different during that time. Protection from the men, they were the head of the household. Um, and not like what's going on now, where we do have heads of the household who are women led. And so these women went back, well, she went back, and Ruth went with her, and she worked in the field sun up, sundown. Boaz, who was a wealthy relative of Naomi's, knew about Ruth and inquired about her, and he was told that this is the young lady who had come back with Naomi, the daughter-in-law, to help with taking care of Naomi and taking care of herself. She wanted to go to a new land. Again, I don't know what transpired back in Moab. I know that it was a paganistic land, but there must have been something within her that she really, really knew or felt that there must have been something better along the road that Naomi was going to, along the path that Naomi was going down. And what happened was she ended up marrying Boaz. It was a very beautiful story. Naomi had actually directed Ruth on how to let your intentions known and still being a lady. And he definitely got the message. And they ended up getting married. They ended up having a child. And she ended up being a part of the line of Jesus. Now, this woman, again, she did not know what she was going to encounter when she got to the land with Naomi, but she just knew she had to go. She persevered. She persevered when she experienced so much loss. There was no big plan to regain her life, but she knew she had to trust there was something bigger and better waiting for her. Even her mother-in-law kept telling her to return back to her ancestral home, putting limits on her on what she should do, on where she should go. But you know what? She was stubborn. And she wasn't going to be obedient. She was bold. And she decided that she wasn't going to stay in Moab, that she was going to be loyal to her mother-in-law. And that loyalty, and she wasn't looking for praises. She just did what she had to do. But people were so impressed, especially Boaz, who took notice of that. You don't have to be flashy for people to know who you are. You don't have to be flashy so people will know your integrity, what's in your heart. So I just want to say that as little girls, we definitely, as us being women, we definitely need to help guide, help mentor these little girls who are growing up to become beautiful, fierce, confident women. We have to support them. We have to be there for them. Just like Ruth was there for Naomi, and Naomi was there for Ruth. Again, we have no idea what relationship transpired, but she took to Naomi as a mother. and she stayed with her. Well, I hope you like this story. It's a little over 10 minutes. I'm going to go. But I just want to say this to all my people. You know who you are. Those in relationships, those who are not, those who are in relationships with themselves, trying to get to know themselves again. Be patient, be kind, be loving, be authentic. May God bless you and put his hands on everything you do. Have a good day. I'm out. Peace. Thanks.